1241, welcome back to Central Valley Talk. It is April the 14th, almost midway through this month already. I'm Austin Reed. Thank you for joining us. We've got another live local guest in studio with us now. This is Hansel Kern with the Kern Family Farm, and that's where we're looking at behind us right now. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Hansel, good afternoon.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've been on Central Valley Talk before. This is my first time interviewing you. For people out there that don't really know what the Kern Family Farm is, give us the details.
All right. We're on a little beautiful piece of land up on the bluffs off the San Joaquin River. We have 80 acres up there, and we have about 13 acres of it deer fenced. And we have all sorts of different terraces that we've carved in. Our farm slopes probably 300 or 400 feet in that 80 acres. So there's a lot of hillsides. We've created a lot of terraces over the years. I've been up there for 47 years, but I was a mason for many years and just started farming in 2000 or 1999 is when we actually started the farm. And we grow 70 or 80 different kinds of vegetables and fruits and salad greens and grapes and all kinds of stuff up there, and real diverse. We're now going into our fourth season of absolutely no tillage, which is something that's very exciting to see how that happens. And we have a couple hundred chickens, certified egg producers, and we have a small little goat herd that we practice holistic grazing management over the entire 80 acres. So they move every few days into a little electric portable pen with guardian dogs, and they rotate and cover the entire property, which I'll talk about a little bit later when we talk about how we survived the fire.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. You know, I covered that, for probably a week straight. I mean, like 12, 14, 16 hours a day. It was unbelievable. But you guys are here.
We're here. And, first of all, I just got to say my heart goes out to all the folks that lost homes and property and cars. And it was, as you know, the historical largest wildfire in California's history. And we were evacuated. We were given just hardly any notice. It happened on my wife's and mine anniversary weekend. We were going to have a staycation where we were going to stay home and not do any work. And we got a call at 10 in the morning from friends of ours that work in the fire field and Forest Service and so forth, and they said this is getting bad. It's jumped the river. It started on the opposite side of the San Joaquin, and that's happened many times where it never got close to us, but things rapidly escalated, and pretty soon they're saying we really think you should get out. And so we opened up all our gates for the goats, the chickens, the dogs, and packed up as much as we could. We have a bunch of interns, of great young folks that come and they're called woofers, and we all just grabbed all the cars we could, and we got out of there in just a few hours' notice. And it was luckily I have a daughter that lives in Ahwahnee, and she took us in. And our crew had other places. They came to some folks in Fresno, and we kind of dispersed. But it's a really, really rough feeling to think about all that you've worked for all these years, that it could just be obliterated, And 12 days we were evacuated. Managed to talk people to let us in a couple of times and check on things. We had a couple of neighbors that stayed back and helped take care of the animals that stayed on the property. And we were really blessed. Of our 80 acres, I would say 74 didn't even really get touched by fire. We've do a lot of brush management, for 47 years we've been doing chainsaw work, and my son with our crew has done an amazing amount of brush clearing to get the canopy, the brush that's low to the ground, off the ground so that the fire will stay in the grass. And we have another wonderful guy named Weather Carrot that does trail building around our farm, and his trail, little hand-picked trail, stopped it many places. Some of the roads stopped it. And in all fairness, conditions were in our favor. If there was a 50-mile-an-hour wind, it could have all been gone. But as it was, we came back and didn't lose any structures. I had a wheelbarrow burn up and a rake and a hoe and a little empty travel trailer that was holding was for dogs, but it had a bunch of cardboard in it, and that burned up. But really, we feel very blessed, and we attribute a lot of the success into keeping that canopy down where the fire was low when it got onto the property and it extinguished. It went all four sides of us, and never made it in more than 50 or 100 feet onto the property. So we're a lot of hard work paid off and a bit of good fortune. So.
What was the feeling like, when you were away the first couple days thinking about the animals?
It's the feeling of hopelessness and sorrow. I mean, we were emotionally wrecked as we were leaving the place. And we got in a couple of times. The highway patrolman let us in, and we talked someone into letting us in, but basically we couldn't go back, come and go. And then at a point, they had a hard closure, what they call a hard closure, and we just couldn't go up. So we put out a word out through the internet and about if anyone sees a herd of goats running around, let us know if you think they're okay. And it's a gut-wrenching feeling to think about it. And there's not words to describe, much less coming home to something that was burnt down. And we have friends that lost places, and my heart really goes out to those folks. But like I say, we were blessed, and we were lucky, and we did a lot of work for this. We've been thinking about fire the whole time we've been up there, 47 years. Mm-hmm. We came back, the goats, the chickens, everybody was in their place, in the barns, with the gates wide open. Just life is normal for them. They never left the place. The fire never came through the barn area or onto the, so it never really threatened them directly. Yeah. And I think they just stood put because fire literally ringed our property all the way around. We had a neighbor on the east and a neighbor on the west that lost structures, not their main homes, but shops and barns and so forth. So it was close. Yeah. And then to put up with the smoke, we had it creep into our, little bit into our rose patch that my son's new wife, that I'd like to talk about a little bit later, but we just planted all these really special roses. She's an herbalist, and the fire got onto the mulch, which is the chips that tree companies chip up, and we chip as well. Mm-hmm. And it just followed those chips along, and we lost a few fruit trees and some roses. So there was a loss, of some plant stuff, but all our structures were fine. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it was
pretty amazing, actually. We were blown away.
Now, where exactly are you guys located?
So we're 9 miles up Mammoth Pool Road.
Okay.
Out of North Fork.
Okay.
And like I say, our bottom property line is just a little over the edge of the bluffs of the San Joaquin River that look at Redinger Lake. So we were in this, epicenter of the fire, really. Yeah. I mean, it started on the other side of the river, and then it came up through Kinsman, and it looked like a nuclear bomb went off. When we were leaving, the smoke was just incredible, and it was burning up those hills with the manzanita, and it was just a scary,
Well, big shout out to all the firefighters and
yeah,
everybody involved.
Absolutely. We had a dozer. They didn't have personnel to come and protect homes in our neighborhood, but we had a dozer crew that came in, and they dozed some lines, and they went around our water tanks and our greenhouses, and a lot of it never reached that, but one area to our west, their dozer line definitely helped save us coming from the fire approaching from that side. So Ritter and his guys, we really appreciate them. Yeah.
So now that we are in spring, summer's coming up, what are some of the new things that you're working on?
Well, our big news is we do a real big variety of vegetables. But this last year, through, the year that no one wants to remember, 2020, the COVID, we had some amazing blessings happen to us. And my son, who's been wanting a family since he was 20 years old, frustrated at 27, thinking, oh boy, this is never going to happen, and I said, well, I see these ads sometimes in Acres Magazine, which is an organic farming magazine. He put a little thing in there, and it caught this gal's eye up near Seattle.
Wow.
And she is, her name is Becca Zollinger at the time. She now has taken Aaron's name, but I could talk about it for hours, but serendipity and their communication, things just worked spontaneously, and they were on the same wavelength, and as far as belief systems and farming and being close to the land. And she is an herb specialist, got a master's degree, and she's also a midwife, and just makes tinctures and salves and knows everything you need to know about the human body and how it can be healed naturally through herbal medicine. she moved right in and hit the ground running, planted all kinds of lavender and roses and all different kinds of herbs. And so we built a little herb drying shed, which is a new addition to the farm. And she actually is having classes up there now, kind
Oh.
of distant, few people at a time. And
She
she
should
teaches.
come on here.
Yeah, I think she would like that.
Yeah.
But she came with her son Ezra, 9-year-old rambunctious, somewhere between a gymnast and a ninja warrior, running around the farm just loving it.
Yeah.
And they have now just had a new baby named Yarrow.
Wow.
And he just turned 5 months old. So
So you're a grandpa.
again, I
Again,
have two
yeah.
older grandchildren.
Oh, you
They're
do? Okay.
22 and 21 through my older daughters, Connie or through Connie. And so this is the first new grandbaby in 21,
Yeah.
22 years. So we're real excited, and they're on the farm. So she's now co-managing the farm with my son Aaron. And I get to observe more and turn the compost pile and do maintenance. And
Yeah.
I run the tractor on the compost pile, but not in the fields anymore at their insistence. And then my daughter Becky runs our store, the Gnarly Carrot. So it's a true family operation.
It's amazing.
And we're having a good time of it. We had with all things considered, we had a good year. We have a new family member. The Gnarly Carrot just celebrated its 5th birthday. So my daughter Becky's doing a great job of managing that. That's kind of her baby, and she puts in some long hours. And then the other big news is my son got a grant from the NRCS, and we really want to give a shout out to NRCS because they help small family farms. And we've been working at the North Fork School Garden for 20 years.
Okay.
That was our anniversary last year. I really miss the kids. Haven't been to the North Fork School with the kids since March of last year.
Yeah.
We're just now going back a little bit now, but we're going to really hit it in the fall. But he got a grant from the NRCS for 3 new hoop houses to protect the crops that we grow there, because we have in the years past grown a lot of food for the kids into the cafeteria. And we are going to be done in a few weeks building these and planting the summer crops. So when the kids come back in the fall, we should be full on in vegetables at the school.
That's great.
So
man.
we're kind of busy.
Yeah, but what a story of resilience for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been through. I mean, this year has been a nightmare. 2020.
Yeah.
2021 seems like it's getting a little bit better. But you throw in a pandemic and then the fire. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's really, I think really that our I know a lot of great folks in the Forest Service, but the managers and the people that are making decisions, we really need to look at how we're managing the forests.
Right.
And there should be a discussion with all parties involved.
Mm-hmm.
Loggers need to be in there. The environmentalists, we need to get at the same table. We need to talk about what's good for the forest and take the politics out of it.
Yes.
And I personally think that we should put thousands of people to work clearing the understory of forests so that for the Native Americans, fire was a tool. And they would set fires traditionally in these mountains every year as the season was right, and they kept the underbrush down, and the forest was healthy. And so, for all the good efforts of Smokey the Bear and suppressing fires, it's really made it so that it's gotten overgrown and dangerous. And we've all moved into not all, but a lot of folks have moved into the mountains, and now where the fire might have just gone through, now we can suffer some serious damage.
No, that's a good reminder. And I think everybody really needs to look at what you did, because if you hadn't been working on this for 20 years.
Yeah, 47 years.
47, yeah.
20 farming.
Right,
yeah.
20 farming, but 47 being there. You could have lost so much more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
if it got on there and there was a lot of brush to catch right away, it would just plowed right through it.
Just right through it,
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people learn more? What's your phone number?
Well, we have the Gnarly Carrot is 559-877-8400. Check out kernfamilyfarm.com. You can see a lot of the different things we're doing. And one of our apprentices, we call them woofers. It's called Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. And we've hosted over 700 woofers in the last 12 years.
Wow.
So a lot of young, great folks that come and learn how to farm and learn about living on the land. and it's an internship. You know, we do the whole thing with the IRS and, you know, labor exchange for room and board. And a lot of wonderful people have come through. And
You looking for any new interns?
well, there's a waiting list. You got you know, give us a application, and we're gonna check your references. And so we want people that are serious, that want to farm, and it's mostly been young folks, but not always. But it's a wonderful program, and it's inspired a lot of young folks to, if not farm themselves, then to appreciate farmers.
Sure.
You know, we are an essential business. We did not stop work. We had to keep going.
Right.
Becky had to keep being in the store, and you know, we made our pods where my wife Sue, who's, hats off to my dear wife Sue, who's been the one making the trip to Fresno to do the work to make the money so that we could afford to farm, because as you know, 91, or maybe you don't know, but 91% of small family farms rely on another income in the family to support themselves. And to me, there's something wrong with that food is not more valued, that it's so hard for us to make a living farming. But she's done it. And so she and myself, I come to Fresno to the farmers markets and get supplies that we don't grow for our store. And we've kind of been in our own little pod, and then the crew and the farm have just stayed real tight onto the property. Any new apprentice had to go through a 2-week quarantine in their own trailer before they were allowed to mingle closely with the work crew.
Yeah.
And I've missed, you know, my family. My older daughter Ariana down in Morro Bay, and her husband Joe. And Connie. We, you know, didn't get to have the holidays and didn't really get to hug each other or anything for a year. We've just recently had our first visit.
Nice.
And so
How was that?
it was wonderful.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
I bet.
You know, we just trying to still be careful. It's not too it's too soon to be just totally open wide up. I think we should be cautious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And hopefully
And we're 6 feet apart.
Yes,
so
we
I
are.
think
Yeah,
we're good
it
here.
always looks
Got a
on
fan
TV.
going.
Yeah, yeah, we've got the fan going.
The door's open.
Yeah, the door's open. It looks like we're closer, but we're not. See, when I edge in, I disappear.
We disappear.
That's the proof, everybody.
There you go.
Hansel, thank you for joining us. Good to meet you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back. You're going to be back in maybe a month or so,
I'd like
right?
to come back. We'll talk about the Stone Fruit Jubilee. A lot of
Right.
folks in the valley here in Fresno know about that, and
Great.
yeah, love
All
to
right.
talk more with you. Thank you.
Fun interview. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you're watching Central Valley Talk. We're back with Barb and Sallow via remote. We'll talk to them next.